Sales has to be one of my least favorite, or it used to be one of my least favorite activities as part of my business process. And even just to recognize that I'm selling always used to make me feel uncomfortable. But I changed the way I viewed sales, and I changed the way I navigated selling when I'm trying to convert customers. And I tell you, it has vastly improved my relationship to sales. And I really want you to just touch on it briefly. There are a myriad of videos on how to sell, how to be a great salesperson, across YouTube. So nothing I'm saying here is necessarily new, but I think what's important for me to do here is just share my experience authentically, or at least the things that have worked for me authentically. So I'm going to break it down to 3 cons. So it's not con, it's real, but I think I like the sound of this. 3 cons. So the first one, obviously, is confidence. You've got to build up your confidence when it comes to selling, especially when it comes to converting. And I guess that's another con. Confidence is really key, and it's challenging, but you have to be able to find ways that you can enhance your confidence, whether that's through having, you know, a great support network that's going to hype you up, you're hyping yourself up, you know, reading books. There's only so many books you can read though, but reading books, confidence exercises. So even if it's something like, so this is something that actually worked for me, selfies, posting them on something as basic as Instagram. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but something as superficial as that can vastly improve your confidence, because what it's saying is you don't care about what other people think about you. You're just doing this for you, right? Regardless of, so I'm saying regardless of the engagement, right? So confidence, and that's just one thing, but that's the key message here is trying to find ways of building your confidence. Next, and I think the most important for me, other than confidence, is conversation. When you start having conversation with the people who you're trying to sell to, really having conversation rather than just trying to push to sell, to get that final sell, to get them to give you their money, you learn what it is they really need. And when you figure out what it is they really need, what it is they really require from you, you might actually learn that you might not be best placed to serve them, which is good, because then you know that actually you can redirect your energy elsewhere. So having good, authentic, honest conversations, listening to what your potential client wants, that is a really major key, a fundamental key in terms of converting to sales, right? And I think the final one, I've used that word, is conversion. So we've got the 3 cons. Yeah, I figured this out. Yeah, okay, so I'm not a professional salesperson, as I'm sure you've gathered, but it's what these things have worked for me. So conversion. So the conversion element of sales is basically, how do you get from the confidence? So you introduce yourself, you let the people know that you're around, that you're willing, you're able, you're capable, to the conversation piece, so they're actually speaking to you. So that's really, you're getting closer to converting them, to actually making that sale, right? How do you get to convert them to that sale? So once you figure out what it is that they need or they want, converting them really bridges that gap. And so I would say, don't pressure, no pressure. I don't pressure my potential clients, but what I do is I follow up. I check in to make sure there's any gap. If there's any gaps that I need to fill in, be willing to answer their questions, and know when to close. How do we close that deal? It's sounding I feel very corporate right suddenly, but in terms of converting my clients and my potential clients, what I always do is I recognize that maintaining and building that relationship is going to get me that win, that final win, that conversion to that sale. And see, even speaking to you now, I'm like, all of these things I'm saying, yes, there's sales, but it's more than that. It's building that relationship. It comes down to building quality and authentic relationships. And if you can build those quality and authentic relationships, you can get those sales. And hopefully, I know this is a very quick summarized explanation on how you can get sales, but for me it's a thing that's worked, right? And it works for me. I'd love to hear what's working for you when it comes to sales, but also I want to know what are your blocks and what are your barriers. And I think once you identify what your blocks and barriers are when it comes to selling and selling your services, selling your products, I was going to say selling yourself but you know what I mean, selling the services that you have to offer. Once you can identify what they are, it makes it so much easier to figure out the best way of selling to your target audience and target demographic. So thank you so much for watching. Leave some comments and more tips below. Any of you who are experienced in selling, please do leave some tips below. Take care.